Hi, I'm Roy. Let's talk about deception. Thank you. Thank you. Let's talk about deception and dealing with human life. From the day you enter Earth, a system is already in play which is very pushy, intrusive, and repulsive, leaving nothing in the end in life but beliefs in falsifications of eternal joy and happiness, while the face value reflects differently. The actual thing which takes place is decay of the human anatomy and mind, which leaves nothing in the end of life cycle except separation and death, which breeds fear and anxiety coupled along with isolation and loneliness. This is what really happens at the end of life cycle on the face value, which is not good. We all have beliefs. But we should logically face our beliefs and question everything by measuring the physical actuality of how things actually really work together and exist in dealing with our five senses. The first sense is the sense of the mind, which houses our brain, which simultaneously, that means at the same time, simultaneously process the other or our other four senses, which sense number two is the sense of sound. The sense of sound simultaneously process the other three senses, which are sight, touch, and taste. And then there's the third sense, sight. Sight simultaneously processes the other two senses, touch and taste. And then we have the fourth sense, the sense of touch. This sense simultaneously processes the other sense, the sense of taste. And I didn't mention smell. The reason why I didn't mention smell is because taste and smell are the same. Yes, even the amount of senses we house is based upon a lie. Yeah, that's true. They're lying to us about our senses. I could go into a lot of detail concerning senses, and I hope you can go back and replay this recording to get what I just told you about the senses. There are several types of creatures. There are so many creatures on this planet which use touch as taste, and they can taste things by using their antenna to touch. It's the same thing, but we basically have five senses. The earth is a fourth dimensional existence, and there is a three-dimensional existence that overlays the fourth dimension. We have to also understand that the earth has five dimensions and that there are fifth dimensional creatures. But let's get into this deception. Let's get into it. The truth is, thank you. The truth is, man, M-A-N, humanity, has a forced innate ability to lie, cheat, steal, and kill. This rude behavior is a continual dysfunctional reflection exuberated by our actions through our everyday living. Language, writings, pictographs, and history reflect our behavior. We are more willing to believe in things which are told and shown us through illustrations, pictures, and drawings rather than the absolute physical evidence of what affects us daily. Unless everyone, listen to me, unless everyone comes together with clear, upfront, close, hard, easy to be understood evidence, then we must conclude that dissimulation is present to continue illusions for personal gain, to keep the human anatomy and mind and spirit captivated, whether it is intentional or accidental. We need to address this thing we call deception, and we're guilty. We're all guilty. But if you pay attention to how I say things, I remember I said it's forced deception. And there's a reason for this. So the following things I'm going to name are absolute face value facts, which are often rhetorical things mimicked and rehearsed by many sincere, ignorant, foolish minds around the world. And we never fully obtain, these foolish minds never fully obtain an understanding and grasp of the physical functions and behaviors of how things actually work together and exist. For example, when we are children, our parents tell us things and we nod our head yes and we think we understand, but until we grow up and see things for ourselves, then we begin to get what our parents said. And a lot of times in life, we realize that our parents fucking told us just blatant ass lies, and we need to find out for ourselves that mom was full of shit and so was dad. There is no Santa Claus, and all of these things that we find out from reality. Why is the deception there? It's there to entertain us. This is the mild things in life. These are sincere things we try to do to please our children, but sometimes there can be repercussions because of these behaviors, which can breed hate. I know a girl who, when I was in high school, I knew her since elementary. I kept telling her that there was no such thing as Santa Claus, and she, after a point of time, when she found out through several sources that there is, she broke down and had a mental collapse because her parents went through extremes to have her believe that there was a Santa Claus. And this girl was she was 2 years from being an adult. She had a mental collapse. This shit, stuff like this, we understand we are sincere, but we have to address deception in general. Okay. For example, thank you. For example, do you remember when you were born? Can you recall the memories when you were very young? Before I was born, I remember being able to hear talking outside of my mother's womb. I know this sounds crazy. By the time I was born, those 9 months, I clearly remember being able to speak English, but my mouth wouldn't respond to my thinking because I was an infant. Something was there blocking me from being able to speak English, although at my birth I remember clearly being able to understand and speak English. And I remember the thoughts that I wanted to tell my mother that I can understand her, but my mouth wouldn't open. Recently, not too long ago, I told my mother something she did and that she said to me and did to me when I was only 2 years old. This baffled my mother. She was shocked and amazed, and she was stunted, and she couldn't believe that I can remember the exact details of everything that happened to me when I was a child. There was a traumatic event that happened to me, and I recall these events to my mother. Unfortunately, sometimes, or fortunately, when we have traumatic events, sometimes that does carry over in our memories, even till the time we're older, even from the time when we're a child. There is a system there that constantly bombards our mind to forget. And I won't go into detail at this present moment because I have a lot to cover here. I want to help you. But by the age of 5, I recall sitting under a certain tree in a city which I was born. I didn't really want to mention the city, but I'm going to mention it. I was born in a certain place. And I remember entering into the dome into the body of Roy. I know it sounds bizarre. Looking up, and I remember looking back up at the dome. I knew I had been trapped inside, and I spent hours and days just staring up at the sky, hoping to get back out. From that day, there are a numerous of supernatural events which took place, which slowly, through the process of hypnosis and life experiences, were erased until not too long ago. But in short, my mind was adept to the world, and I had great ability to manipulate the Earth's system. Even when I knew how things actually work and existed, through the repeated forced cycles of the sun and the bombardment of the misinformation by repeated radio frequency used by AIM satellite dishes in these project, quote-unquote, project housing areas, I eventually allowed myself to get brainwashed by the Earth's system, which taught me things which are not true, but based upon speculation, guesswork, rehearsed dialogue, and animated pictures and videos. Even now today, when I actually know, fully know, and have absolute physical proof of how things are and how they exist, I constantly find myself battling my conscious mind and subconscious mind because of the traditional things which were forced and injected into my mind by rehearsed practices held over long periods of time under the guise of family tradition and religion, cloaked behind a thing called unconditional agape love. In your case, it could be hate. But we are in a program which is a forced system. And that's the truth. It's hypnosis. For example, have you ever heard of the expression that someone was born gifted or born a genius? What's going on here? These are people who have not been affected for whatever reason by the radio jamming signals which train your brain to forget things by which are naturally understood when you entered this earth. Did you know? Did you know? Did you know that constant radio waves are sent into your brain on a 24/7 basis to produce bad thoughts? This is why you can go to a perfectly good event such as a wedding ceremony, or even go to church on Sunday morning or whatever day you go to church, and all of a sudden in the middle of a good conversation or message you get a bad thought which comes into your mind. What's going on here? While your conscious brain is alert, you focusing on the good things, the good thoughts and enjoyment in that moment, the subconscious brain is also alert also. And even though you can't acknowledge or physically hear the radio frequencies which bombard your brain, the tuning forks in your ears and in your body pick up the radio signals through your subconscious brain. And that is the automated brain that works whether you think about it or not. We don't have to tell our hearts to beat in order for the body to function. This is the subconscious mind that exists and brain that works whether we think about it or not. You know, the thing that tells you to breathe. This thing processes these information and picks up the radio signals and projects those radio signals to sometimes to your conscious brain while you're still awake. And this is why those thoughts come into your mind. And at that point, a person has the ability to reject those thoughts or accept those thoughts that come in. And sometimes it takes us by total shock and say, what the fuck am I thinking this for in the middle of church? Am I crazy? Am I a pervert? No. What's going on here? Thank you. What's going on here, ladies and gentlemen, is they're using crystal technology to fuck with your mind. And unfortunately, our brains are constantly trained to accept bad thoughts, and thus people are led to believe that it's okay to think this way. And if it wasn't for our conscious thinking or the forefront of our minds with our pineal glands, this world would be in a far worse condition than it is now. I know it's bad. shit, you don't know. It could be worse. And so, unfortunately, our brains are trained like this. There is a reason that this world is the way that it is. There is an absolute, clear physical reason why this world is bent on bad thinking. You and I know this exists. We know that while we are sitting at home, eating popcorn, watching a movie, or reading a book, or spending time with our family or friends, or whatever you do, that there's satellite information, there's signals which pass through the air and through our bodies, through the televised data, and all sorts of data which are projected through the use of television by satellites. Television shows as an example, radio talk shows, these things go on constantly. And at times, our subconscious brain picks us up during our sleep patterns or even while we're awake, and these thoughts come into our mind. This is how sometimes you can sing a song at the same time that it's on the radio. You turn the radio on and you're like, holy shit, I'm singing, and you be singing at the exact same time. Yeah, this is reality, man. Text messaging. Now, people back in the day, people wouldn't believe that this exists, but this technology has always been, I want you to understand that this technology has always been present since the beginning of the earth. That's what you need to understand. That's what you need. Okay. Even satellite projects by the Black Ops geared toward one area, such as project housing areas across the world, to experiment the ability to manipulate and control the human mind and human behavior and actions. Now, if you are like me, then your mind is pure and willing to adventure the hardest questions in life and seek out all the truth, even if it means having to renounce one's beliefs, which can drive a person mad. When I actually learned how things are done in life, all the bullshit that I was taught went on a back burner to teach me that men will say and do anything because it's just them being ignorant or willingly deceptive. True. We all should closely physically observe the face value and common sense nature of how things actually coexist and work. Let's test your knowledge here. Now, I do a lot of talking, and I'm pretty sure I'm not going to cover everything I would love to cover for you at this present moment. But if you follow my dialogue and website here and the recordings, you will begin to understand the truth. Okay, let's test your knowledge here. I'm going to tell you some stuff, and let's see how you respond, and let's see what your brain does at this present. And I'm going to test and see if you are under the system and under this hypnosis. I'm going to give you some actual clear, real-time, fourth dimensional facts that can be easily seen if you have proper knowledge and access to these things, and they can be easily seen, measured, and attainable by anyone who can comprehend on let's say a 5-year-old level. We'll give you 5 years there. So here it goes. These are absolute facts. And let me test you here. Let's see if you're going to think I'm totally bizarre. And I'm going to say some stuff which is going to rub you the wrong way. And I'm going to give you a warning here. So if you want to stop this recording, you can right now. But right now I'm going to say some stuff that's going to make you judge me. And I don't mind that, because we all need clear physical evidence of the truth. We need to find out what the fuck is going on in life. How can you justify who you are and what you are if you don't know what the fuck you are and who you are and why you're here? Yeah. Everyone. Okay, let's get into this, because I know this recording can be lengthy. Did you know that there is only one satellite which orbits or projects above the Earth? That satellite is the sun, and it is the only satellite which repeatedly moves in the same fashion from left to right in a straight line, or from east to west in a vertical movement, and that is true. I don't want to get into why, but there are several credible, clear resources that I have been listening to who have helped me to understand that the sun could be just going in a straight line. The earth is in a dome, and this is why it looks like the sun is going around the earth. And I cannot debunk that. It's very true. It's very possible. But I don't want to get into the details of that. But did you know also that the moon is refraction of the sunlight through that supercondensed crystal they call the firmament? Scientists call it the Orion's belt. Some call it the Earth dome. Yes, the actual physical truth is that the sun and the moon are the exact same things. And when you see them both, it is due to refraction of light projected through a glass-like or crystal-like material. Did you know that there is clear, hard physical evidence that the glass-like or crystal there's clear, I'm not clear right now, and that's because maybe I'm just losing my mind at this present moment. Yeah, fucking with you. I'm under hypnosis also. Did you know that there's clear, hard physical evidence that the sun is much smaller than Earth, and that there is clear record of a darker, smaller object which projects the sunlight into the crystal dome, much like a spotlight you can purchase for your home? Did you know that the sun is always around 82 degrees daily, and that we are supposed to have perfect weather each day? Did you know that the sun shines down on the earth from the other side of the dome and not from the inside of the dome? A thing flat earthers and believers often get wrong because they just rehearse what other we don't use common sense. Keep in mind the greenhouse effect, which in real science will kill off and suffocate oxygen levels if the sunlight was inside of the dome. So naturally and brilliantly, someone or group of entities, or quote-unquote God, has placed the sun safely outside of the dome to provide the perfect paradise habitat for daily living. Did you know that the sun is one of the only positive energy sources which cultivates life and not kill it off? This is due to the negative ions by which the sun utilizes photosynthesis and energy in different sources to bring light through that negative polarity that the earth has upon the earth and its inhabitants. Did you know that the sun oftentimes oscillates, physically oscillates like a fan, and many times shortly after heavy toxic chemtrails which are sprayed by men utilizing aircraft, and that this sun is recorded clearly spraying the toxic pollution, clearing out man's creation of pollution. If you have proper windows or lenses, even sunglasses, you can clearly see these events. But a lot of times, like in my first case, my brain didn't want to believe what I was seeing, and it was just saying, well, this is an optical illusion. Even though I had the wind blowing directly overhead, pushing the trees, swaying them left to the right. But as you know, people sometimes deny what they see because their brain has been trained. Yeah, our brains have been trained to believe this shit, and we need to change it. We're under forced hypnosis. The brain is trained not to believe the obvious, upfront, clear evidence. Even though the wind is blowing down, the breeze, the air, and it's coming from, the sun is oscillating. Something in the history or in my life has taught me that what I see and what I feel is not what I see and what I feel. That that the wind is blowing from some magical creature from another world. I don't know what the fuck this is. Yeah, I do believe that the world is a fairy tale and that the world is run by a dragon. Yeah. there's more truth to that than you believing that the world is a globe, and that I shouldn't get into that, but don't worry. Don't worry. I've been guilty of being an idiot just like everyone else, and perhaps I'm still an idiot, but it's let's get into this. Did you know that there is no clear did you know the Muffin Man? I don't know what to tell you. Tripping. It's obviously I don't know anything here. Thank you. But as you know, people sometimes deny what they see, even if it's obvious up from clear evidence. And did you know that the stars and planets are only lights projected on the face of that super translucent crystal dome? Did you know that there is no clear, hard physical evidence of any planet or galaxy, but that they are all speculations, graphs, pictures, and animations, that no source has raw footage, 24-hour footage, which has not been tampered with, of any event outside of the dome, with the exception of the sun? And some people say the sun and the moon, but you have to understand that refraction is in play here. The sun is the moon. The moon is the sun. They are the same thing. I know I sound crazy, but it's the truth. It is. It really is. Also, did you know that when we use videos or people reach a certain altitude, that the only thing seen above the planet Earth is in fact the sun and darkness all around? That there's no stars or anything else there? There's an optical illusion here. Did you know the reason it is cooler up higher in the air is partly due to the chemtrail spraying, but also because the sun sends a beam of light perfectly to the surface of the waters and the earth in a perfect fashion. This is orchestrated, and this is something that is done on purpose by some intelligent life form who's cultivating life on the earth. This is what the fuck is going on the planet. Yeah. Did you know that when people interfere with the sunlight, that it causes the sun to heat up toxins, which causes skin cancer, pollution, and disease, and sometimes heat strokes and death? Did you know that most humidity you feel outside is caused by man's interference of the atmosphere by utilizing radio frequency and constant chemtrail sprayings? Did you know that heavy chemtrails sprayings causes radical climate change, that it produces pressure under the dome, and that like a plunger, it pushes the earth down in various areas, creating a loud bang resulting in earthquakes, tidal waves, tsunamis, hurricanes, and tornadoes? Did you know that man uses radio waves by ground-based antennas, satellite dishes, and these antennas shaped like harpoons to trigger weather change, earthquakes, and holes in the earth? They've gotten pretty good at aiming this thing they call HAARP at the dome, and they've found some pretty amazing things. They can destroy land, move waters, and even create crop circles with this. So in turn, when they produce a really good computer program which uses math and numbers, they can send radio frequencies into the dome, which reflect and come back down to the earth and create really cool pictures on the ground. Yes, I've just now taught you how crop circles are made, and now I've just now debunked the fucking yeah. But I swear this is the truth. You have to understand our ignorance. And I hate to bust the bubble of the people who are saying alien seekers. I didn't mean to burst your bubble, but this is how things really fucking with ourselves and providing the illusion that extraterrestrials are creating pictures from lower. They take pictures from lower space and are able to. And this is crop circles are made. They're amazing thing. And this is because of radio frequency, which can bend the blades of grass without destroying the blades of grass. So it is not a lawnmower, although they can use lawnmowers and different types of equipment to cut the grass. But when people go out there, they see that, wow, what has done this? They have formed sound waves which bounce off the Superdome, bending blades of grass without destroying it. Yes, this is what's going on. I don't mean to burst your bubble, but in reality, the HAARP original's intent was to crack through the dome. It was man's attempt, and they also used nuclear weapons to crack through the dome, and they've tried so many things to crack through this Superdome. Through trial and error, the secret government has found out some very interesting tricks utilizing magnetic waves, plasma energy, along with the Van de Graaff or Graaff generator. Did you know that even clouds, can you believe it? Clouds are not a natural occurring event. The sun or any light source cannot produce clouds, but rather will produce condensation and moisture. You say, well, why clouds are up there? The pressure of the dome, when they spray these chemicals, the sunlight's not hitting them directly. And the cold actually, the chemtrails will dry out. And after time, when the sun is able to provide the pressure which evaporates the water, there's pressure that's produced and there's rain. But did you know that even clouds are not natural, but that the sun or no sort of light source can produce clouds, but that they produce condensation and moisture such as dew, and it can actually rain without clouds. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, it can rain without clouds. Have you seen this shit, or am I just making this up? Why? How? Well, we'll shortly address this. Well, the reason is that we are stuck in a dome. It is a real. When you ever hear the government talk about greenhouse, they're fucking with you right here. There is truly a we are in a greenhouse. Seriously. Did you know? Did you know that no one knows the full shape of Earth or size of Earth? That humanity has ignorantly and foolishly believed in a falsified educational system which only provide fake drawings, animated pictures, and computer generating graphs which are only speculations of how the earth is shaped. Did you know that Google Earth uses animation from a distance, but then they use actual pictures from close? Why? Because they can't get up high enough because we are enclosed in the dome. Did you know that the entire earth floats on water like an island and has high elevation plateaus and low elevation plains, that some parts of the earth are submerged, giving the illusion of isolated islands and peninsulas? Did you know that the earth is one landmass, that all of earth is one place, namely Egypt? Yes, the earth and the entire inhabitants is one place, and it is a possibility that this all is one thing called Egypt. I know I sound crazy. Yeah, parts of it they call United States. The other parts they call Korea. The other parts they call Russia and Japan and Jerusalem. Different parts of the world, but this is not true. The truth is that the earth is one landmass. And yes, the entire earth is indeed one landmass. Thank you. This is why There are pyramids all around the world, including underwater. They're discovering pyramids underwater. Some parts of the state I live in, I won't name the state, they have found pyramids on the East Coast, the West Coast, all around the world. Why is this true? Because, yes, ladies and gentlemen, we are still in the Garden of Eden, if you believe in the Bible. We are still here. I know this sounds bizarre, and I'm not trying to teach you the Bible. I'm just telling you that if that is true, it does line up with that. We are in one location. It's just been submerged in water. This would explain. And I wonder, I'm curious, was there a significant amount of chemtrail sprayings and harpoons, and this is why we had the Great Flood back in the day? I'm not sure, but pushed the earth down, destroyed. Did you know that dinosaurs are they just find bones, and that these are falsified stage events? Even bones, even giant bones, even though they may have found giant bones, you have to understand that around the world, if the world started at the same time, there's going to be significant evidence that the government will not be able to cover and keep hidden from the eyes of people around the world. We have to wake up that there is deception here. It's bullshit. Bullshit. I'm going to really rub some people the wrong way, and I want to give you some little bit of knowledge about me. I have equivalent to a master's in computer science. I have the equivalent of a doctorate. I have a doctorate in theology, and I've worked with Black Ops. You wouldn't know the name. One of the originals, the Golden Dragons, you wouldn't know who these people are. And rank was a captain, and I have a lot of experience. Personal upfront experience. I was a part of an excavation group that I ditched and got out of, who were to take and deface some of the parts of the pyramids. There's things you just don't know what's going on around the world because we're not together on this, and we need to get together. Yeah, sure. But I'm going to say some stuff that's going to rub you the wrong way. I'm going to say some stuff that's going to rub everyone the wrong way. And trust me, I believe in God. But what you've been told about God is bullshit and it's lies, and people are fucking with you. They're fucking with you. Fucking with your mind. And the gods that run this earth are fucking with you. And I have to apologize if I was one of those gods that, and I know I sound like a bizarre fucking crazy maniac, and it's possible I am, but if there are entities such as myself, we do not desire this for the human race or any creature on the earth. There needs to be freedom and truth displayed on all levels. Fuck this shit. Did you know that all Bibles in all cultures are written stories based upon someone else's view? Scripture is given by inspiration of what we believe to be as God. It's not written in a first-person account of anything, not even the words of God. Did you know that everything regarding our origin is hidden on purpose? Did you know that secret excavation groups go to remote parts of the world and create fake artifacts to give the illusion that this is how it was in past times? Did you know that the noses are removed by early excavation groups, and not even erosion does this, but that men do these things upon the first settlers of Egypt? Did you know that most of the ancient I want to stop right there. Now you can understand that when settlers went to other parts of the earth, that the Indians were already there, the Negroes were already there, because we never left, you dumbasses. The earth has been pushed down, and there's water surrounding us. The earth is pushed down, and that's what the fuck is going on. We're still here. We never went anywhere. And you take generations of certain cultures living in caves, and this is when you start to get the variations of colors with the this is already proven by scientists and computers. That's why you have the different colors. Everything please don't take this personal and offensive, but everything comes from black. All the colors are there. But it's the truth. It's the truth. That's how things are. Every color makes black. Darkness there. This is easy science. You know this. It's just stuff you don't want to admit because you've been brainwashed. Did you know that most of the ancient writings are staged by clever modern-day secret groups in order to deceive and rewrite history of our origins? And I was a part of that group, and I ditched out of the group. I won't name the institutions or the place for my own protection, and I just don't want to name. You'll never get me to admit any of this stuff, but I'm telling you, this is the truth. Did you know how the pyramids got made and how they moved these great rocks? Do you know this? Let me tell you, the secret is most likely when dealing with the dome. When the dome is relieved, gravity is less, making it easy to move stones. But even in this case, ladies and gentlemen, the majority of ancient findings, this is going to sound bizarre, that you see Greece, Rome, even the parts of Egypt, these are staged artifacts intended to deceive the entire existence of man, to actually know what time it is, where they are, why they're here, where they come from, and it's all absolute deception. I want to let you know that, thank you, the planet Earth is a lot further in technology. And if you have tried to, if you've been like me, and well, I shouldn't say like me, because I haven't tried to patent, but if you're like my friends, I have really great friends here, some of them are successful to patent and advance the Earth, that shit gets shot down because they do not want you to get free and to advance. It's forced control. You're going to stay in the oil era. This is control. And they want you to believe in pollution, and they want you to stay in this shit. Did you know that they lied about God? They lied about what God is and who God is. They lied about the devils. They lied about what devils are and what devils do. Even the story of Jesus Christ, written in red. Even that written in red, a lot of those things which are said make sense, but then again, some of it doesn't make sense. You have to use remember, the scripture tells some truth. There are some truths there. They're basic, fundamental truths. Your nature teaches you that there's some things that just doesn't match up. There's some things that was said that if you do those things, they should come to pass. Even Jesus said, or if he did exist, and I'm not saying that he didn't, but he said that if my words, if you can't believe my words, believe my works. The actual physical evidence is what the hell he said. Stop believing what people say. Find out for your damn self what the hell's going on. Why can't God speak for himself? And why are we given accounts of events from a distance? There's a seemingly staged events. Everything's done from a distance. Pictures. And why is everything done in a distance and not in person, clear, upfront, and close? Regarding other life forms such as aliens, extraterrestrials, ghosts, spaceships. Why are they all blurry and seen from a distance? Can you see the pattern here? Do you see the pattern here? For real. I'm not trying to debunk anybody. I'm just saying, I'm not saying that these things don't exist altogether, but you have to understand in this realm, a lot of this is bullshit and it's a staged events. And we got to take care of this. We have to address this. Why are UFOs seen from a blurry distance? Why do people constantly send blurry pictures seen in a distance? You mean to tell me out of all the people in the world, on all sides of the corners of the earth and those remote areas, that there are not going to be clear, hard, physical evidence of extraterrestrials, these things you believe is grays? Something is going on. We've been fucked with. Our minds been fooled. And trust, you don't have to trust me. You don't have to believe me. But when it comes to extraterrestrials, I am extremely credible. I'm very credible. But why are these things seen in this? Why do people constantly send in blurry pictures? Even the stars, when utilizing a powerful telescope, comes in blurry. But why? Well, it's partly because of the dome, but in reality, it is all deception to the point that you find out exactly how, It's because my mind and my brain has been fucked with right now. And so is yours, and we need to get out of this shit, for real. Tongues flipping around here. Yeah. They sin, but why? Partly because of the dome. And even this is deception to the point until we find out how they are done and understand exactly how they are done. But when you do find out how things are done, if you're like me, you begin to understand that not one source can be trusted because it is tainted with illusions, hypnosis, and deceptions on a constant, on a constant. But why? Why can't God speak for God's self? Why? Why all the control and deception? Because upon full knowledge, you obtain power to control your destiny and thus get free of this continual loop of death. And yes, there's strong possibility that technology is present, which upon your death simply captures your spirit, your actual spirit, and implant you into another fetus. I know this sounds like the Matrix, but in reality it is. Yeah, it is. You can clap. The primary purpose. I'm not Neo, by the way, either. Remember, Neo had his ass kicked in the end of the story. The primary purpose. Sorry about that, Keanu Reeves, but you know what happened, and I'm sorry about that. The primary purpose of this control is to utilize all Earth dwellers for energy. Your emotional charge provides the Superdome a charge, and this is why things are the way they are on Earth. You are dealing with fifth dimensional entities, which are simply superhumans, which operate on a faster frequency. This is what's going on, ladies and gentlemen. I want you to go back and replay what I've stated today, and I want to cover a lot of more things, but this is sufficient for now. You have to understand that deception is at bay, but you got to understand how. Don't just rehearse and say what other people have said. And I hate to say this, but the human race, we're pretty much dumb and stupid, just like I am right now. Ladies and gentlemen, until I can see you where I am already, open your eye. Open your eye. Thank you.